Qing territory, Li Bing's levy triggered a massive population boom, and the military had a new base to launch attacks into enemy territory. The state of Qing was evolving into a powerhouse. In 247 BC, that job was left to the Qing's new emperor, a 13-year-old named Yingzheng. The young ruler assumed the throne with his mother acting as queen dowager. But Yingzheng came to power in a palace teeming with enemies, already plotting his demise. Knives were being sharpened. At the top of the list of those who wanted him dead was his own mother. She now had a lover and 2 new sons she wanted on the throne. At the age of 22, Yingzheng discovered her plot to have him killed. He had his mother banished and his stepbrothers and her lover killed. His authority was now absolute. With his throne secured, Yingzheng sent his armies out to finish the job of unifying all of China. Only one kingdom stood in the way. They were called the Chu. In 238 BC, the Qing launched an epic all-out war on the Chu in a conflict that raged doggedly on for 15 years. In 223 BC, they too raised the banner of surrender. The last great obstacle to the Qing conquest of China had been crushed. The Qing dream of empire was complete. China was unified and at peace. Now a true emperor, Yingzheng needed a royal name. He would come to be known throughout China and around the world simply as Shi Huangdi, the first emperor. Shi Huangdi proclaimed his dynasty would last 10,000 generations. It was during his reign that China embarked on perhaps the most spectacular construction project of all time, a wall, unlike any the world had ever seen. It remains to this day unsurpassed by modern engineering, a single impregnable barrier to seal the vast Chinese empire from the outside world, along a border that stretches for thousands of miles. But the Great Wall was not only designed to keep barbarians out, it was also a symbolic dividing line, locking the Chinese in. By 210 BC, the Great Wall had stretched over 3,000 miles, leaving an indelible mark on China's harsh terrain. But resentment was swelling into a rage against Shi Huangdi. Many in his kingdom felt the colossal barrier was not worth the toll it inflicted on the Chinese people. Once again, his enemies were plotting against him.
谢了，谢了，兄弟。
是啥爸爸？真的是。
追上！追在我身子上！
上！我的人身上！
At least 3 assassination plots came very close to succeeding. Shi Huangdi struck back by turning China into a virtual prison for its people. He ordered all historical records of his ruthless regime destroyed. Punishment for anyone who didn't comply was forced labor or even death. Some 400 people were buried alive as a lesson to those who spoke out against the regime. When the emperor's eldest son objected, even he was banished. Shi Huangdi's brilliant vision had transformed China into a great empire. In the 1040s, movable type printing was invented in China, a huge development in the history of printing. The first emperor wasn't done. Even as he fought against other Chinese kingdoms and his own demons, Shi Huangdi began to garrison nearly 700,000 men near his capital in central China to build the most personal of all his engineering projects, an epic tomb he had begun planning at the age of 13. In 1974, farmers digging a well came face to face with an ancient Chinese warrior. The mysterious terracotta skull would prove the gateway to one of the greatest archaeological discoveries of all time. Each statue stands between 5 feet 8 inches and 6 feet 2 inches tall, giants for the time. Some weighed up to 600 pounds. But it was the terracotta itself that sent shockwaves through the teams excavating the site. The clay had a hardness beyond anything they'd ever seen before, indicating that Shi Huangdi's artisans had developed a revolutionary new technology, blast furnace kilns that fired the statues at temperatures up to 2,000 degrees Fahrenheit. Archaeologists eventually uncovered 3 massive pits filled with the terracotta army guarding the first emperor's tomb. One pit alone contains over 6,000 life-size warriors and horses in battle formation. In a second pit, 1,300 of Shi Huangdi's elite military forces, including archers, chariots, and cavalry, were discovered. While the third pit, with 68 figures and 1 chariot, was the command center of the entire army, headquarters for the defense of Shi Huangdi's empire, even in death. 30-foot walls divided the massive complex, which stretches out for 7,000 yards, into 3 parts, the outer city and inner city, and then the mausoleum itself. During construction of the tomb, an army of workers excavated a gigantic terraced pit measuring about 1,600 feet by 1,700 feet, equal to 580 basketball courts. When the sprawling tomb complex was complete, it was topped with a terraced mountain of earth, nearly 400 feet tall. At the time, it may have been nearly as large as the Great Pyramid of Giza in Egypt. But over 2,000 years, weather has worn down the original man-made mountain to about 250 feet. Shi Huangdi had boasted the Qin dynasty would last 10,000 generations, but just 3 years after